Come, you ladies and gentlemen, listen to my song. Sing it to you right, but you might think it's wrong. May make you mad, but I mean no harm. It's just about the renter's on Penny's farm. It's the hard times in the country out on Penny's farm.
This play is called Our Town. It was written by Thornton Wilder and produced and directed by Emma Cusden and Liam Bennett. In it you will see Rose Killian, Ray White, Sunday Collins, Sam Hetherington, Benjamin Cummins, Seaton Turner, Logan Kefner, Quinn Coopers, and Ma Ross Donald. You will also see me, Mackenzie O'Malley. The name of the town is Grover's Commons, New Hampshire, just across the Massachusetts line. The day is May 7th, 1901. The time is just before dawn. The sky is beginning to show some streaks of light over in the east behind our mountain. The morning star always gets awful bright before it has to go, doesn't it? Well, I'd better show you how our town lies. Up here is Main Street. Way back there is the railway station. The tracks go that way. A Polish town is just across the tracks, and some Canuck families. Here is the town hall and post office combined. The jail's in the basement. Along here is a row of stores, hitching posts and horse blocks in front of it. The first automobile is going to come along in about 5 years, belonging to Banker Conrad, our richest citizen. Lives in the big white house over there. Here is the grocery store and Mr. Morgan's drugstore. This is our doctor house, Doc Gibbs. This is the back door. This is Mrs. Gibbs' garden. Corn, peas, beans, hollyhock, heliotrope. This is Editor Webb's house, and this is Mrs. Webb's garden. A lot like Mrs. Gibbs, only a lot more sunflowers. It's a nice town, you know what I mean? Well, as I said, it's about dawn. The only lights on in town are over by the tracks, where Polish mothers just had twins, and over in the Joe Crowell house, where Joe Jr. is getting up as so to deliver the paper. So, another day has begun. There's Doc Gibbs coming down Main Street now, back in that baby case. And there's his wife coming downstairs to get breakfast. Doc Gibbs died in 1930. The new hospital is named after him. Mrs. Gibbs died first, a long time ago in fact. She went out to visit her daughter, Rebecca, who married an insurance man in Canton, Ohio, and died there. Pneumonia. But her body was brought back here. She's up in the cemetery now, with a whole mass of Gibbses and Herseys. She was Julia Hersey before she married Doc Gibbs. Well, in our town, we like to know the facts about everybody. There's Mrs. Webb coming downstairs to get her breakfast too. And there's Joe Crowell Jr. delivering Mr. Webb's scent.
Oh, morning, Doc Gibbs.
Morning, Joe.
Somebody been sick, Doc?
No, just some twins born over in Folkestown.
Do you want your paper now?
Yes, I'll take it. Anything serious gone well since Wednesday?
Yes, sir. My school teacher, Miss Fox, is getting married to a fellow over in Concord.
I declare, how do you always feel about that?
Well, of course, it's none of my business. But I think if a person starts out to be a teacher, she ought to stay one.
How's your knee, Joe?
Fine, Doc. I never think about it at all. Only, like you said, it always tells me when it's going to rain.
What's it telling you today? Going alright?
No, sir.
I want to tell you something about that boy Joe Crowell. Joe was awful bright, graduated from high school here, head of his class. So he got a scholarship to Massachusetts Tech. Graduated head of his class there too. It was all rolled up in the Boston papers at the time. Going to be a great engineer, Joe was. But the war broke out and he died in France. All that education for nothing.
Kid, what's the plan for you today?
And here comes Howie Newsom, delivering the book.
Oh, morning, Howie.
Somebody said.
Twins.
Twins, eh? It's time to be every year.
Going around, Howie?
No, fine, eh? They'd have been through the... Come on, Bessie.
Hello, Bessie. How old is she, Howie?
Going on 17. Bessie's all mixed up about the rule. Ever since the lockhart stopped taking the court every day. She wants to leave the court just the same. Keeps scolding me the whole trip.
Good morning, Howie.
Morning, Mrs. Gibbs.
Seems like you're late today.
Yeah, something went wrong with the separate. Don't know why.
Children, time to get up.
Come on, Bessie.
George, Rebecca,
child play, easy as kids.
Sit down, drink your coffee. They can be ready in a minute. You can catch her while sleep morning, can't you?
Mrs. Wentworth's coming at 11. Guess I know what it's about too. His stomach ain't what it ought to be.
All told, you won't get more than 3 hours sleep. Frank Gibbs, I don't know what's going to become of you. I do wish you could go someplace and take a rest. I think you'd do you good. Emily, it's time to get up. Bobby, 7 o'clock. I declare you go speak to George. Seems like something's come over him lately. I can't even get him to cut me some wood.
Is he sensitive?
No, he just whines and all he thinks about is that baseball. George! Rebecca, you'll be late for school.
George, look sharp. Yes, Paul. Don't hit him on the corner. Guess I'll go upstairs and get 40 minutes.
Wally, Emily, you'll be late for school. Wally, you wash yourself good or I'll come up and do it myself.
Mom, what dress shall I wear?
Don't make a noise if I stay out all night when he's asleep. I watched an Almond movie with you special.
Mom, I hate that dress.
Oh, hush up with you.
Every day I go to school looking like a sick turkey.
No, Rebecca, you always look very nice.
Mama, George is throwing soap at me.
Children, now I won't have breakfast is just as good as any other meal, and it won't have you gobbling like wolves. It'll stunt your growth, and that's a fact. Put away your book, Wally.
Oh, Mom, pretend like I got to know all about Canada.
You know the rules as well as I do. No books at the table. As for me, I'd rather have my children healthy than bright.
I'm both, Mama. You know I am. I'm the brightest girl in school for my age. I have a wonderful memory.
Eat your breakfast.
I'm bright too when I'm looking at my stamp collection.
I'll speak to your father about it after he's rested. Seems to me 25 cents a week's enough for a boy your age. I declare I don't know how you spend it all.
Oh, Ma, we got a lot of things to buy.
Strawberry phosphates, that's what you spend it on.
I don't see how Rebecca comes to have so much money. She's got more than $1.
I've been saving it up gradual.
Well, I think it's a good thing to spend some every now and then.
Mama, do you know what I love most in the world? Do you? Money.
Eat your breakfast.
Oh, Ma, I gotta go.
You look very nice, walk fast, but you don't have to
Goodbye.
run. While there's a little fence, stand up straight, Emily. Here, chick, 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 chick. Oh, go away, go away. Here, chick, chick. What's the matter with you? Fight, fight, fight. That's all you do. You don't belong to me. Where'd you come from? Oh, don't be scared. Nobody's gonna hurt you.
Good morning, Rudolf. How's your cold? But I still get that same feeling in my throat. I told Charles I didn't know I go to choir practice tonight. Wouldn't be any use. So while I'm resting myself, I thought I'd string some of these things. Things have been good this year. Let me help you. I decided to put out 5 parts of the kids. Children say they hate it, and I know they're getting out all winter.
Now, Myrtle, I have to tell you something because if I don't tell somebody, I'll burst.
Why, Julia Gibbs?
Here, give me some of those beans. Myrtle, did one of those second-hand furniture men come to see you last Friday?
No.
Well, he called on me and Myrtle Webb. He offered me $350 for Grandmother Wentworth's highboy as I'm sitting here.
Why, Julia
He
Gibbs?
did that old thing.
Well, you're going to take it, aren't you?
I don't know.
You don't know? $350? What's come over you?
Well, if I could get the doctor to take the money and go someplace on a real trip, I'd sell it like that. You know, Myrtle, it's been the dream of mine to see Paris, France, and oh, I don't know, it sounds crazy, I suppose, but for years I've been promising myself that if we ever got the chance.
How does the doctor feel about it?
Well, I did beat about the bush a little and say, if I got a legacy, that's the way I put it, I'd make him take me somewhere.
And what did he say?
You know how he is. No, he said, I might make him discontented with Grove's colonists to go traipsing about Europe. But well enough alone, he says.
Well, if that second-hand man's really serious about buying it, Julia, you sell it. Then you'll get to see Paris all right. Just keep dropping hints from time to time. That's how I got to see the Atlantic Ocean, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry I mentioned it. Just seems to me that at least once before you die, you ought to see a country where they don't talk in English and they don't even want to.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Now, let's get a little more information about the town. Kind of a scientific account, you might say. So I've asked Professor Willard of our state university to sketch a few details about our past history here. A few brief notes, Professor. Unfortunately, our time is limited.
Okay. Grover's Colonies, let me see. I may say it's some of the oldest land in the world. We're very proud of that. Some highly interesting fossils have been found here. I may say unique fossils, 2 miles out of town. They can be seen at the museum or now university at any time. That is, any reasonable time. Shall I read you some Professor Gruber's notes on the meteorological situation, mean precipitation, etc.?
I'm afraid we want to...
Anthropological, Doctor. Early Amerindian stock, Cotahuachi tribes. No evidence before the 10th century of this era. Now entirely disappeared. Possible traces in 3 families. The population within the town limits, 2,642.
Just a moment, Professor.
Oh, mortality and birth rates, constant. By McPherson's gauge, 6.032.
Thank you very much, Professor. We're all very much obliged to you, I'm sure.
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
This way, Professor. And thank you again. Now, let's go back to our town. All 2,642 have had their dinners, and the dishes have been washed. It was an early afternoon calm in our town, a buzzing and a humming coming from the school buildings. Only a few buggies on Main Street. There's Editor Webb mowing his lawn over there. Oh, and there's some children coming home from school already.
Okay, well, I've got to go home and help my mother, I promised.
Emily, Emily, who do you think you are today?
Papa, you're terrible. One minute you tell me to stand up straight, the next minute you call me names. I just don't listen to you.
God, you never got to kiss me such a great lady.
Excuse me, Mrs. Mars.
Oh, I'm playing the fields, young man. You got no business playing baseball on Main Street.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry, Mrs. Forrest. Oh, hello, Emily.
Hello.
You made a mighty fine speech in class.
Well, I worked an awful long time on it.
Gee, it's funny, Emily. From my window up there, I can just see your gnats over in your head, gnats over in your room when you're doing your homework.
Well, can you?
You certainly do stick to it. I don't see how you can sit still that long. I guess you like school.
Well, I always feel it's something you have to go through.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it really. It passes the time.
Yeah, but you see, I want to be a farmer. And my Uncle Luke says whenever I'm ready, I can go and work on his farm. And if I'm any good, I can just gradually have it.
You mean the house and everything?
Yeah. Anyway, I better be going. I've got baseball soon. Oh, good afternoon, Mrs. Webb.
Good afternoon, George.
So long, Emily.
Hello, George. Emily, come help me string these beans for the winter. So George Gibbs let himself have a real conversation, didn't he? Why, he's grown up. How old would George be?
I don't know.
Well, let's see. He must be almost 16.
Mama, I made a speech in class today and I was very good.
You must recite it to your father at supper. What was it about?
The Louisiana Purchase. It was like silk off a spool. I'm going to make speeches all my life. Mama, will you answer me a question serious?
Seriously, dear, not serious.
Well, seriously, will you?
Of course I will.
Mama, am I good looking?
Of course you are. All my children have got good features.
No, Mama, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, am I pretty?
I've already told you yes. Now that's enough of that. You have a nice, young, pretty face. Never heard of such foolishness.
Mama, you never tell us the truth about anything.
I am telling you the truth.
Mama, were you pretty?
Yes, I was, if I do say it. I was the prettiest girl in town next to Mamie Cartwright.
Well, Mama, you've got to say something about me. Am I pretty enough to get anybody? You know, to get people interested in me.
Emily, you make me tired. Now stop it. You're pretty enough for all normal purposes. Come along now and bring that bowl with you.
Oh, Mama, you're no help at all.
Thank you, too. Happy to be up here again. Well, good deal of time's gone by.
down like a time of luck.
Now look here, everybody. Music hasn't worked your pleasure. Softer, softer. Get it out of your heads that music's only good when it's loud. You need loudness to the Methodist. You couldn't beat him even if you wanted to. Now again, tenors.
Emily.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Emily, did you get the third problem? The third.
Why, yes, George, it's the easiest of all.
I don't see it. Can you give me a hint?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It answers in yards.
In yards? How do you mean?
In square yards.
In square yards.
Yes, George, don't you see?
Yeah.
In square yards of wallpaper.
Oh, wallpaper. Oh, I see, Emily. Thanks.
You're welcome. Why isn't the moonlight terrible? And I think if you hold your breath, you hear the train all the way to Cook. You hear it?
What do you know?
Well, I guess I better go back and try to work.
Well, good night, Emily. Thanks.
Good night, George.
Now, before I forget, how many of you will be able to come in Tuesday afternoon to sing at Fred Hersey's wedding? Show your hands. That'll be good. That'll be right. Nice. Now, we'll do the same music we did for Jane Trowbridge's last month. Now we'll do Out Thou Weary, Out Thou Languid. It's a question, ladies and gentlemen. Make it talk. Ready?
Oh, George, can you come down a minute?
Yes, Pa.
Make yourself comfortable, George. I'll only keep you a minute. How old are you, son?
Why, I'm 16, almost 17.
What do you want to do after school's over?
Oh, you know, Pa. I want to be a farmer on Uncle Luke's farm.
You'll be willing, will you, to get up early, milk and feed the stock, and you'll be able to hoe and hay all day?
Sure I will. What do you mean?
Well, George, while I was in my office today, I heard a funny sound. What do you think it was? It was your mother, chopping wood. There you see your mother, getting up early, cooking meals all day long, washing, ironing, and still she has to go out to the backyard and chop wood. I guess she just got tired of asking you and decided it was easier to do it herself. And you eat her meals and put on the clothes she keeps nice for you. And you go out and play baseball like she's some hard girl to keep her in the house. That we don't like very much. Well, I knew all I had to do was call your attention to it. Here's a handkerchief, son. George, I've decided to raise your spending money 25 cents. Not, of course, for chopping wood for your mother, because that's the present you give her, but because you're getting older, and I imagine there must be a lot of things you must find to do with it.
Oh, thanks, Pa.
Let's see. Tomorrow's your payday. You can count on it. Rebecca felt she ought to have some more, too. Wonder what could have happened to your mother. Choir practice was never as late as this before.
Oh, it's only 8:30, Pa.
I don't know why she's in that old choir. She hasn't more voice than an old crow. Traipse around the streets at this hour of the night. About time you're retired, don't you think?
Yes, Pa.
Good night, Martha. Good night, Mr. Foster. I'll tell Mr. Webb. I know he'll want to put it in the paper. Mine's late. Good night, Irma. Real nice choir practice, wasn't it? Myrtle Webb, look at that moon. Potato weather for sure. Good night. Can you get home safe, Luella?
Oh, it's as bright as day. I can see Mr. Soames scowling at the window. You'd think we'd been to a dance this way these men folk carry on.
Well, we had a real good time.
You're late enough.
Why, Frank? It ain't any later than usual.
And you're stopping at the corner to gossip a lot of hands.
No, Frank, don't be grouchy. Come and smell the heliotrope in the moonlight. Isn't that wonderful? What did you do that time I was away?
Oh, I was. Come get it.
No, not yet, Frank. I'm worried about you.
What are you worried about?
Well, I think it's my duty to make sure you get a real rest and change. And if I get that legacy, well, I'm going to insist on it.
Now, Julia, there's no sense in going over that again.
Frank, you're just unreasonable.
Come on, Julia, it's getting late. First thing you know, you'll catch a cold. I gave George a piece of my mind tonight. I reckon you have your wood chopped for a while anyway. No, start getting upstairs.
Oh dear, so many things to pick up seems like. You know, Frank, Mrs. Fairchild always locks her front door every night. Everyone up that part of town do.
They're all going to citified, that's the trouble with them.
They've got nothing fits about it, everybody knows it.
Get out, Rebecca. There's only room for one at this window.
Well, let me lift just a minute.
Use your own window.
I did, but there's no moon there. George, do you know what I think? Do you? I think that the moon's getting nearer and nearer, and soon there'll be a big explosion.
Rebecca, you don't know anything. If the moon were getting nearer, the guys who sit up all night with their telescopes would notice and then tell about it, and it would be in all the newspapers.
George, is the moon shining on South America, Canada, and half the whole world?
Well, it probably is.
9:30. Most of the lights are out. Oh no, there's Edge Webb coming home after putting his newspaper to bed. And here is Constable Warren trying to keep dogs on Main Street.
Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Mr. Webb.
Why, the moon.
Yep.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Who's up there? Is that you, Mo?
No, it's me, Papa.
Why aren't you in bed?
I don't know, I just can't sleep yet, Papa. Moonlight's so wonderful. The smell of Mrs. Gibbs really a trouble. Can you smell it?
Yes. Having any troubles on your mind, have you?
Troubles, Papa? No.
Well, enjoy yourself, but don't let your mother catch you. Good night.
Good night, Papa. I never told you about that time when Jane Crawford was sick and her minister wrote her a letter. He wrote her a letter, and on the address it went, Jane Crawford, Crawford Farms, Grover's Corners, Sutton County, New Hampshire, United States of America.
Well, what's funny about that?
It's not finished. United States of America, continent of North America, Western Hemisphere, Earth. The solar system, the galaxy, the universe, the mind of God. That's what it said on the envelope.
Well, what do you know?
And the postman brought it just the same.
What do you know?
3 years gone by. Yes, the sun's come up over 1,000 times. Summers and winters have cracked the mountains a little bit more, and the rains brought down some of the dirt. Some of the babies that weren't even born before have begun talking regular sentences already. And a number of people who thought they were right, young, and spry have noticed they can't bound up a flight of stairs like they used to, without their heart fluttering a little. All that can happen in 1,000 days. Nature's been pushing and contriving in other ways too. A number of young people fell in love and got married. Almost everybody in the world gets married. You know what I mean? In our town, there aren't hardly any exceptions. Almost everybody in the world climbs into the grave as married. The first act was called the daily life. This act's called love and marriage. There's another act coming after this. I reckon you can guess what that's about. So, it's 3 years later. It's 1904. It's July the 7th, just after the high school commencement. That's the time most of our young folk jump up and get married. It's early morning, only this time it's been raining. It's been pouring and thundering. Mrs. Gibbs' garden, and Mrs. Webb's here, drenched. All those bean poles and pea vines, drenched. All yesterday over here on Main Street, the rain looked like curtains being blown off. May begin again any minute.
And there's Mrs. Gibbs and Mrs. Webb coming downstairs to get breakfast, and it's over another ordinary day. These ladies you see before you, both these ladies cook 3 meals a day. One of them for 20 years, the other for 40, and no summer vacation. They raise 2 children apiece, washed and cleaned the house, and never a nervous breakdown.
Get out, Bessie.
And here comes Harry Newsom delivering the milk. And there's Sal Proud delivering the papers like his brother before.
Morning, Howie.
Morning, sir. Anything in the papers now, Bill?
Nothing much, except losing about the best baseball pitcher Grover's Commons ever had, George Gibbs.
Reckon he is.
He could hit and run bases too.
Yeah, mighty fine ball player. Whoa, man. I can stop talking about my mind too.
I don't see how he could give up a thing like that just to get married. Would you, Howie?
Can't tell, son. I never had no talent that way. You're all right, Bill.
See if there's anything I can do to prevent a flood. The river's been rising all night.
Side crowd's all worked up for that George Gibbs. Time for baseball.
Yes, sir, that's the way it goes. Back in '84, we had a player side. The name of, even George Gibbs couldn't touch him. Name of Hank Todd. But he went down to Maine and became a parson. And was a great baseball player. How's it look to you?
Ain't bad. Maybe we'll clear up good.
Good morning, Howie. Do you think it's going to rain again?
Morning, Mrs. Gibbs. The rain's so heavy. I think maybe it'll clear up.
Certainly hope it will.
How much do you want today?
Well, I'm going to have a house full of relations, so I'll need 3 milk and 2 cream.
Oh, my wife says to tell you is how we both hope they'll be very happy, Mrs. Gibbs. No.
Thanks a lot, Howie. And tell your wife I hope she gets to the wedding.
Yeah, she'll get there. She'll get there if she can. Morning, Mrs. Gibbs.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Newsom. I told you 4 quarts of milk. I hope you can spare me another.
And we talk cream.
Will it stop raining again, Mrs. Newsom?
Oh, well, just saying to Mrs. Gibbs is how maybe it'll clear up. Mrs. Newsom told me to tell you this how we both look. They'll be very happy, Mrs. You know them.
Thank you. And then, Mrs. Newsom, we're coming to you at the wedding?
Yep. Could have missed that. We'll get you.
Well, the day has come. You're losing one of your chicks.
Frank Gibbs, don't say another word. I feel like crying every minute. Hey, sit down, drink your coffee.
Groom's up shaving himself, only there ain't an awful lot to shave, whistling and singing like he's glad to leave us. Every now and then he says I do to the mirror, but it don't sound convincing to me.
I declare, Frank, I don't know how he'll get along. I've arranged his clothes and seen to it that he puts warm things on. And, Frank, they're too young. Emily won't think of such things, and you'll catch us at the cold within a week.
I was remembering my wedding morning, Julia.
Don't stop that, Frank Gibbs.
I was the scaredest young fellow that stayed in handcuffs. I thought he'd make mistakes, sure. And when I saw you walking down the aisle, I thought you were the prettiest girl I'd ever seen. The only trouble was I had never seen you before. There I was in a congregational church, marrying a total stranger.
But Frank, how do you think I felt? Weddings are perfectly awful things. Farces, that's what they are. Yeah, I made you something.
Why, Julia Hesse, French toast!
It ain't hard to make, and I had to do something.
How's the sleep last night, Julia?
I heard a lot of hours struck off.
Yes, I get a shock every time I think of George standing out to be a family man. Decorate gang and everything. I tell you, Julia, there's nothing so terrifying in the world as the son. The relation of father and son is the darnest awkwardest.
Well, mother and daughter's no picnic, let me tell you.
Then have it on the clothes, I suppose. That's none of our business. Everybody's right to themselves.
Yes. People are meant to go through life 2 by 2. It ain't natural to be lonesome.
Do you know one of the things I was scared of when I married you?
I'd go along with you.
I was afraid we wouldn't have material for conversation. Mom lost us a few weeks. I was afraid we'd run out and eat our meals in silence. That's a fact. Well, you and I have been conversing for 20 years now, without any noticeable barren spells.
Well, good weather, bad weather, it ain't very choice, but I always find something to say.
Did you hear Rebecca stirring upstairs?
No, only David here
out there managing everybody's business.
She's hiding in her room. I got the impression she's crying.
Lord's sakes, this has got to stop. Rebecca, go get some breakfast.
Good morning, everybody. Only 5 more hours to live.
George Gibbs, where are you going?
Just stepping across the grass to see my girl.
George, you put on your overshoes, it's raining tarts. You won't leave this house without you're prepared for it.
Oh, Ma, it's just a
George,
step.
you'll catch your cold and cough all through the service.
George, do as your mother tells you.
From tomorrow onwards, you can show yourself in all weathers, but while you're in my house, you live wisely, thank you. Her Webb's probably not used to call those at 7 in the morning. Here, take some coffee.
Well, just be a minute. Good morning, Mother Webb.
Goodness, you frown me. Now, George, I'm coming in a minute out of the way, but you know I can't ask you when.
Well, why not?
George, you know as well as I do, the girl cannot see his bride on his wedding day, not until he sees her in the church.
Well, that's just an old superstition. You don't believe in that old... Good morning, Mr. Webb.
Good morning, George.
You don't believe in that old superstition, do you?
There's a lot of common sense in some superstition, George.
Millions have followed it, George, and you don't want to be the first to fly in the face of custom.
Well, how is Emily?
She hasn't waked up yet. I haven't heard a sound out of her.
Emily's asleep.
No wonder. We were up till all hours sewing and packing. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. You sit down here with Mr. Webb and drink this cup of coffee, and I'll go upstairs so she doesn't come down and surprise you. It's bacon too, but don't be long about it.
Well, good morning, George.
Good morning, Mr. Webb. Mr. Webb, what sense could there be in a superstition like that?
Well, you see, on her wedding morning, a girl's head's apt to be full of clothes and one thing and another. Don't you think that's probably it?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I wish a fellow could get married without all that marching up and down.
Every man that's ever lived has felt that way about it, George, but it's been no use. It's the women folk that have built up weddings, my boy. For a while now, they have it all their own. A man looks pretty small at a wedding, George. All those good women standing shoulder to shoulder, making sure that the knot is tied in a mighty public way.
Oh, but you do believe in it, don't you, Mr. Webb?
Oh, yes, yes. Don't you misunderstand me, my boy. Marriage is a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. Don't you forget that, George.
No, sir. Mr. Webb, how old were you when you got married?
Well, you see, I've been to college and I'd taken a little bit of time to get settled. But Mrs. Webb, oh, she isn't much older than Emily was. Well, age doesn't have much to do with it, George, not compared with other things.
What were you going to say, Mr. Webb?
I don't know, I was going to say something. George? I was thinking the other night of some advice my father gave me when I got married. Charles, he said, Charles, start out early showing who's boss. Best thing to do is give an order even if it don't make sense. It's just so she'll learn to obey. He said, if anything about your wife irritates you, a conversation or anything, just get up and leave. That'll make it clear, he said. Oh, and yes, he said, never let your wife know how much money you have. Never.
Oh, Mr. Webb, I don't know if I could.
Well, so took the opposite of my father's advice, and I've been happy ever since. Now let that be a lesson to you, George, to never take advice on personal matters. George, are you going to raise chicks on your farm?
What?
Are you going to raise chickens on your farm?
Well, Uncle Luke's never been much interested.
Well, a book came into my office the other day of on chickens on the phylocest system of raising chickens. I want you to read it. I'm thinking of beginning in a small way in my backyard. I put an incubator in the cellar.
Charles, are you talking about that old incubator again? I thought you two be talking about things more worthwhile.
Well, if you want to give the boy some advice, I'll just go upstairs and leave you alone with them.
George, Emily's got to come downstairs and eat her breakfast. She says it's lovely. She does not want to lay eyes on you. Goodbye.
Well, goodbye.
Murder? I guess you don't know about that old superstition, do you?
What do you mean, Charles?
Well, since the caveman, Uncle Brad worships his father-in-law the wedding, on air. Now remember that.
Thank you very much. Now, we want to know how all this began. This wedding. This plan to spend a lifetime together. George and Emily are now going to show you the conversation they had when they first knew. That, as the saying goes, they were meant for each other. But before they do it, I want you to try and remember what it was like to have been very young. And particularly the days you were first in love. When you were like a person sleepwalking. You didn't quite see the street you were in. You didn't quite hear everything that was being said to you. You were just a little bit crazy. Will you remember that, please? Now, George has just been elected president of the junior class. And as it's June, that means he'll be president of the senior class all next year. And Emily's just been elected secretary and treasurer. There they are now, going down Main Street.
Yeah, Louise, I've got to go home. Bye. Oh, Ernestine, can you come over tonight and do that? Jeanette says they're all the worst things. Tell your mother you have to. Like Helen, like Fred.
Can I carry your books on for you, Emily?
Oh, thank you. It isn't far.
Oh, excuse me, Emily. Say, Bob, if I'm a little late, stop practice without me, and give her some long hour ones. Oh, goodbye, Lizzie. I'm awfully glad you were elected too, Emily.
Thank you.
Emily, why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
Well, you've been treating me so funny lately.
Well, since you asked me, I guess I might as well say it right out, George. Goodbye, Miss Kilcorrick.
Well, goodbye, Miss Kilcorrick. Well, what is it, Emily?
I don't like when people change just come over you and rest you. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I've got to tell the truth and shame the devil.
A change? Well, what do you mean?
Well, up to a year ago, I used to like him a lot. And I watched you as you did everything. Because we've been friends so long. And then you began spending all your time in baseball and never stopped to speak to anybody anymore. Not even your own family you didn't. And George, is a fact, you've got awful conceited and stuck up. All the girls say so. They may not say it to your face, but that's what they say about you behind your back. And it hurts me to hear them say it, but I've got to agree with them a little. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I can't be sorry I said it.
Well, I'm glad you said it, Emily. I never knew that such a thing was happening to me. I guess it's hard for a fellow not to have faults creep into his character.
Well, I always expect a man to be perfect, and I think he should be.
Oh, I don't think it's possible to be perfect, Emily.
Well, my father is, and as far as I can see, your father is. There's really no reason on earth why you shouldn't be too.
Well, I feel that it's the other way around. That men are naturally good, but girls are.
Well, you might as well know right now that I'm not perfect. It's not as easy for a girl to be as perfect as a man, because we girls, we're more nervous. I'm sorry I said all that about you, George. I don't know what made me say it.
Emily?
I can see it isn't the truth at all, and it isn't even important anyway.
Emily, would you like an ice cream soda or something before you go home?
Thank you, I would.
Oh, hello, George. Hello, Emily. What do you have? What, Emily Webb? What have you been crying about?
She just got an awful scare, Mr. Morgan. She almost got hit by that hardware store wagon crossing the road.
Well now, you take a drink of water, Emily. You look all shook up. I tell you, you've got to look both ways before crossing Main Street these days. It gets worse and worse every year. Now, what do you have?
I'll have a strawberry phosphate. Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
No, Emily, have an ice cream soda with me. 2 strawberry ice cream sodas, please, Mr. Morgan.
2 strawberry ice cream soda. There you go. Enjoy them.
They're so expensive.
No, don't you think of that. We're celebrating our election. And you know what else I'm celebrating?
No.
I'm celebrating because I've got a friend who tells me the things that ought to be told to me.
George, please don't think of that. I don't know why I said it. It's not true.
No, Emily, you stick to it. I'm glad you spoke to me like you did, but you'll see, I'm going to change. I'm going to change so quick. And, Emily, can I ask you a favor?
What?
If I go away to State Agriculture College next year, would you write me a letter once in a while?
Yeah, certainly will. Certainly will, George. Well, it certainly seems like being away 3 years you get out of touch with things. Maybe letters from Grover's Corners wouldn't be so interesting after a while.
Oh, the day wouldn't come when I wouldn't want to know everything that's going on here. I know that's true, Emily.
Well, I'll try to make my letters interesting.
Emily, you know, whenever I meet a farmer, I ask him if he thinks it's important to go to agriculture school to be a good farmer.
Why, George?
Yeah, and some of them say that it's even a waste of time. And Uncle Luke's getting old. He's about ready for me to start taking over.
Why?
Emily, I feel that you're as good a friend as I've got, and that I don't need to meet the people in the other towns.
But, George, maybe it's very important for you to go and learn all that about cattle judging and soils and those things. Because I don't know.
Emily, I'm going to make up my mind right now. I won't go. I'll tell Pa about it tonight.
But George, I don't see why you have to decide right now. It's a whole year away.
Emily, I'm glad you spoke to me about that fault in my character. What you said was right. But there was one thing wrong in it, and that was when you said that for a year I wasn't noticing people. And you, for instance. Why, you said you were watching me when I did everything. Well, I was doing the same about you all the time. Well, I always thought of you as one of the chief people I thought about. I always made sure you were sitting in the bleachers and who you were with, and you know, for 3 days now I've been trying to walk home with you. But something's always gotten in the way. Yesterday I was standing over by the wall waiting for you, and you walked home with Miss Corcoran.
Why, George, I'm so funny. How could I have known that? Why, I thought that you...
Emily, I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to agriculture school. Because I think that once you've found a person that you're fond of, well, I mean, a person who's fond of you too, and likes you enough to be interested in your character, well, I think that's just as important as college.
I think that's awfully important too.
Emily, if I did change, I mean, if I made a big change, would you be... No, I mean, could you be?
I am now. I always have been.
Well, I guess this is an important talk we've been having.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'll walk you home.
Thank you, friends. There will now be 15 minutes. You can buy refreshments provided by Class 11 in the foyer. Thank you. then, friends. Well, now let's get on with the wedding.
Oh, I don't know why on earth I should be crying. I suppose there's nothing to cry about. It came over me at breakfast this morning. There was Emily eating her breakfast that she's done for 17 years, and now she's going out to eat it at someone else's house. I suppose that's it. And Emily, she suddenly said, I can't eat another mouthful, and she put her head on the table and she cried. You know, there's something downright cruel about sending our girls off into marriage this way. I hope her friends told her a thing or two. It's cruel, I know. I should have said something, but I just couldn't bring myself to say anything. I went into it blind as a bat myself. Oh, the whole world's cruel, that's what's it. There they come.
George, what's the matter?
Ma, I don't want to grow old.
George, you're a man.
No, Emily, don't get upset. Everything's all right.
But don't you remember? You used to say all the time, you used to say that I was your girl.
Shh, you mustn't think of such things. You're just nervous. Wow, you're marrying the best young fellow in the world. George is fine. George, giving away my daughter. Do you think you can take care of her?
I will. Emily, I'll try.
You, George, take this woman to England to be your woman.
Perfectly lovely wedding. Oh, I do love a good wedding, don't you? Oh, doesn't she make a lovely bride?
I'll do.
Don't know when I've seen such a lovely wedding. But I always cry. I don't know why it is, but I always cry. I guess I just love to see two young people so happy. Don't you? Oh, I think it's lovely. This town, 9 years ago, my friends. Summer 1913. This is certainly an important part of Grover's Corners. It's on a hilltop, a windy hilltop, where there's lots of sky and clouds, and often a lot of sun and moon and stars. Over there are the old stoners, 1670 to 1680. Strong-minded people who came a long way to be independent. Over there are some Civil War veterans, iron flags on their graves, New Hampshire boys. This here is a new pilot cemetery. There's your friend, Mrs. Gibbs. Oh, and here's Mr. Stimpson, organist at the Congregational Church. Oh, and here's Mrs. Soames, who loved the wedding so. You remember? Yes, and lots of others. There's Edgar Waxblad Wallace, whose appendix burst while he was on a Boy Scout trip to Crawford Notch. Yes, an awful lot of sorrow because of the quieted down up here. People just wild and free have brought their relatives up this hill. We all know how it is. And then times, and sunny days, and rainy days, and snow. We're all glad we're up in a beautiful place like this, and we'll be coming here ourselves when our fit's over. Now, there are some things we all know, but we don't take them out and look at it very often. We all know that something is eternal. And it ain't houses, and it ain't names. It ain't the earth, and it ain't even the stars. Everybody knows in their bones that something is eternal, and that something has to do with human beings. All the greatest people ever lived have been telling us this for 5,000 years, and yet you'd be surprised how often people are losing hold of it. There's something way down deep that's eternal about every human being. Well, there are some living people. There is our undertaker, Joe Steiner, digging a new-made grave. And there's an old Grover's Corners boy who left town to go out west.
Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Good to see you. Do I know you?
I'm St. Craig.
Gracious sakes alive, of all people. I should know you care for the people. You've been going a long time, sir.
Yes, I've been away over 12 years. I'm in business out in Buffalo now, Joe. But I was in the East when I got wind of my cousin's death, so I thought I'd combine things with him and come see the Yo-Yo. You look well?
Yes, can't complain. Very sad our journey today, sir.
Yes.
Yes, I understand. I hate to supervise when the young person is sleeping. They'll be here in a few minutes now. My son's supervisor at home.
Old Father McCarthy. I used to be chasing him after school. He had the Lombardo.
Yes, we brought Father here a number of years ago now.
Why? This is my Aunt Julia. I'd forgotten that she had. Of course, of course.
Yes. Dr. Gibbs lost his wife 2-3 years ago, about this time. Today's a pretty bad blow for him too.
Do they pick their own verses much?
Not usual. Mostly the brief and the verse.
Doesn't sound like my Aunt Julia. There aren't many of those Hearst sisters left now. Let me see, where are... I wanted to see my father and mother's.
Over the crates every year.
Simon Simpson. He was over in St. Church, wasn't he?
Yes.
Joe, what did she die of?
Who?
My cousin.
Oh, didn't you know? Had some trouble bringing a baby into the world. Also second though. He was a little boy about 4 years old.
The grave's going to be over there?
There aren't much room over here, but the Gibbs is to the opening of a whole new Gibbs section over by Avenue B. Excuse me now, I see that.
Who is it, Julia?
My daughter-in-law, Emily Webb.
Well, I declare, the road up here must be awful muddy. What'd she die of, Julia?
In childbirth.
Childbirth? I'd almost forgotten that. My, wasn't life awful and wonderful?
Wonderful, was it?
Salmon, now remember.
I remember Emily's wedding. Wasn't it a lovely wedding? I called on them at their farm right before I died. Perfectly beautiful farm. It's right on the road we used to live on. Hello. Hello, Emily.
Emily.
It's raining.
Yes. They'll be gone soon, dear. Just rest yourself.
Mother Gibbs, George and I have made that farm into just the best place you ever saw. We thought of you all the time. We wanted to show you the new barn and this great long cement drinking fountain for the stock. We bought that out of the money you left us.
I did.
Don't you remember, Mother Gibbs? The legacy you left us. Why, it was over $350.
Yes. Yes, Emily.
Well, there's a patent device on the drinking fountain, so it never overflows, Mother Gibbs. It never sinks below a certain mark we've got there. It's fine. It won't be the same to George without me, but it's a lovely farm. A lot of people don't understand, do they?
No, dear. Not very much.
They're sort of shut up in little boxes, aren't they? I feel so I made them last 1,000 years ago. My boy is going to take Mrs. Carter's house. He loves her there. Mother Gibbs, when does this feeling go away of being one of them? How long does it?
Shh, dear. Just wait and be patient.
But look, you're finished. You're going.
And as you watch it, you see the thing that's there, down there, never known. You see the future. You know what's going to happen afterwards.
But is that painful? Why?
That's not the only reason why I shouldn't do it, Emily. When you've been here longer, you will see that our life here is to forget all that, and to think of what's ahead and be ready for what's ahead. When you've been here longer, you'll understand.
Oh, Mother Gibbs, how can I ever forget that life? It's all I know. It's all I had.
Oh, Emily, it isn't wise. It really isn't.
But it's a thing I must know for myself. I'll choose a happy day anyway.
No, at least choose an unimportant day. Choose the least important day of your life. It will be important enough.
Then I can't since I was married, or since the baby was born. I can choose a birthday at least, can't I? I choose my 12th birthday.
February the 11th, 1899, a Tuesday. Do you want any special time of day?
Oh, the whole day.
We'll begin at dawn. You remember, it had been snowing for several days, but it had stopped the night before. They'd begun clearing the tracks. Look, the sun's coming up.
Look, there's Main Street. And that's Mr. Morgan's drugstore before they changed it.
Yes, it's 1899. This is 14 years ago.
That's the town I knew as a little girl. And look, there's the old white fence that used to be around our house. I'd forgotten that. I love it so. Aren't they inside?
Yes, you and Mother will be coming downstairs to get breakfast.
Oh, she.
And you remember, your father had been away for several days. He came back on the early morning train.
No.
He'd been back to his college to make a speech in the west of New York at Clinton.
Children, Wally, and Emily, time to get up.
Mama, I'm here. How young Mama looks. Never knew Mama was ever that young.
You can come and dress by the kitchen fire if you like, but hurry.
Mama, I can't find my blue hair ribbon anywhere.
Just open your eyes, dear, that's all. And it's out for you special on the dresser for a snake to bite you.
Yes, yes.
Good morning, Bill.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Webb. You are up early.
Yes, just been back to New York. Just been back to my old college in New York. Yeah. Morning, Mother.
How did it go, Charles?
Fine, I guess. Told him a few things. Everything all right around here?
Yes, can't think of anything that's happened special. It's been right cold.
Yes, well, paper have any mistakes in it?
None that I noticed. Coffee's ready when you want it.
Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
Hurry up, children. It's 7 o'clock, and I don't want to call you again.
Yeah, they're all so young. Beautiful. Why did I ever have to get old? Mama, I'm here. I'm growing up. I love you all, everything. I can't look at everything hard enough. Good morning, Mama.
Oh, now, a very happy birthday to my girl, and many happy returns. There are some surprises waiting for you on the table.
Mama, you shouldn't have.
But birthday or no birthday, I want you to eat your breakfast good and slow. I want you to grow up and be a good, strong girl. That and the yellow papers from your Aunt Carrie. And I reckon you can guess who brought over the postcard album. George Gibbs. Must have come over in the cold pretty early. Right, nice of him.
George, I'd forgotten that.
Chew that bacon good and slow. It'll keep you warm on a cold day.
Mama, just look at me 1 minute so you really saw me. Mama, 14 years have gone by. I'm dead. Your grandmother, Mama. I married George Gibbs, Mama. Wally's dead too. His appendix first on a camping trip to North Conway, don't you remember? But Mama, just for a moment now, we're all together. Mama, just for a moment, we're happy. Let's look at one another.
That and the blue paper is something I found among your grandmother's things. You're old enough to wear it now, and I thought you'd like it.
And this is from you, my Mama. It's just lovely, and it's just what I wanted. It's beautiful.
Well, I hoped you'd like it. Hunted all over. Your Aunt Nora couldn't find one in Concord, so I had to send it all the way to Boston. Wally has something for you, too. He made it at manual training class. He's very proud of it. Be sure you make a big fuss about it? Your father has something for you, too. I'm not sure what it is myself. Here he comes.
Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
I can't go on. It all goes so fast. I don't have time to look at one another. I didn't realize all that was going on and we never noticed. Take me back the hill to my grave. But first, wait. Just need one more look. Goodbye. Bye, world. Bye, Grover's comes. Mama and Papa. Goodbye to clocks ticking. And Mama's sunflowers. And food. And coffee. And new iron dresses and hot baths. And sleeping and waking up. Earth, you're too wonderful for anybody to realize you. Do any human beings ever realize life while they live it? Every minute?
No. The saints and the poets, maybe. They do so.
I'm ready to go back.
Were you happy?
No. Should have listened to you.
Look, it's clearing up. The stars are coming out.
Oh, Mr. Stimson. I should have listened to you.
Yes, life is pure.
Thomas Stimson made a whole truth near coming. Emily, look at that star and forget its name.
There's one coming.
Oh, Gibbs. It's Josh.
Dear, just rest yourself.
It's Josh.
He ought to be home.
Mother Gibbs.
Yes, Emily?
I don't understand. Do you?
No, dear. They don't understand.
Thank you.